Hi everyone, today we're going to try and make a part 7 Jason costume. First we'll start with the under costume, the skeleton, and you can use paper to make the skeleton. I know CS5 Unmasked, they did a similar one which looks really good for $25. Ours will cost a little bit more because this skeleton here is like $25 just for the skeleton. But I think it'll look good because it's sort of got, when you got the skeleton on, it'll be sort of a 3D effect on the skeleton. So you'll have it raised off the actual costume. So we'll see how it turns out, I guess. We've got the outer clothes as well. They were just bought off eBay, just some old work clothes. Couldn't find any in the thrift store, but definitely try and check them out first. Because a lot cheaper, but it's not long till Halloween, so I didn't have that option. So alright, let's get started and see how it goes. Alright, first we'll just start taking the skeleton apart. Now we've got the skeleton apart. Now we're just going to put some yellow and brown on it just to make it look a bit more rotted. Now we're going to try and stick this onto the mannequin. Alright, we're just going to put some of this KS Bond glue on. We'll just put it around the main contact areas. Let's push that on. I've got a strap here to help hold it in place. So it shouldn't come off because we're also going to be locking it in with silicone around it, building it up over the ribs and the other bones. So don't worry about getting glue everywhere, it's all going to be covered with silicone. This is the day after we glued the rib cage on, so let's see how it's stuck to the clothing. Alright, that looks good. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we'll do the back piece. I won't bother filming that, it's just the same thing. Cover it all with glue, stick it on the back and strap it in or tie it in. We've got the back piece glued on now, it's all pretty secure. So we're going to move on to the arms now. So these won't actually stick on like this because it's just too big and needs a flat surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down the middle and stick them on that way. Okay, so we have this here. Now it's cut down the middle, but it won't stick like this because it's just not enough surface area. So what we'll do is fill this with expanding foam, smooth it off, and that'll give a good surface area to stick the arm piece on. So we'll get to that now. I'm going to cut all the thigh ones down as well at the same time, and then I can fill everything at once with the expanding foam. Okay, so there we have the thigh bone there, so we'll fill this as well. Alright, also got some of the spine there, so that will continue going down there like that. So alright, we'll get all these done and then fill them up. Alright, we've filled these. We'll wait till that expands. We'll come back in 30 minutes or so. See how much that's expanded. And then we'll cut the excess off so it's flat and proceed to sticking them on the skeleton costume. So all this is dried. It's expanded out. So what we need to do now is just cut all the excess off. Nice and flat. Okay, so now we can glue these straight onto the arms like that, and they'll stick pretty well that way. Alright, I'm just going to do the rest of them. Now for the kneecaps, I'm just going to cut out a piece of the pelvis that wasn't being used because it actually didn't come with kneecaps, so it'll look a bit better with them. So I've just marked a line around there, cut it out with a grinder, smooth it off, paint it and just stick it on. I've just covered the expanding foam with a layer of silicone and let it dry, because if you use glue on expanding foam, it'll just dissolve the expanding foam. And also use silicone to actually stick it to the clothing, because you won't be able to put glue on the silicone, it just won't stick to the silicone at all, it will just peel straight back off. So use another layer of silicone, put it on, then stick it on the clothing. Now for the hands, I've just bought some piano gloves off eBay. They're about $4 or $5. Put them on my hands, marked out where the bones should be, and I'm just going to just cut these up and just stick them straight onto the gloves there. So just cut these into sections though, because if you put them on like this, you're not going to be able to bend your fingers. So little bits like that, put one there. Another one there like that. So this piece will go there, the forearm bone there, and we just keep going straight down like that. Alright, we've got some clear silicone here. We're just going to squeeze some into the bucket. Add some brown oil-based paint, burnt sienna. Now I'm following these printed out pictures from the Part 7 movie costume. I've just found those on the net. Just to get an idea of where to put the actual silicone, what part of the bones to leave sticking out, like around the rib cage, etc. So just print some pictures out or look online, you'll find those. Now I've mixed up some darker brown as well, just to mix in with lighter brown, just to give it a little bit more texture. So just cover some of the rib cage. Okay, I've done most of the chest piece. Alright, we're just going to start spreading some silicone around the hands as well. Get those done. We've pretty much finished the silicone work now. Just give everyone a look. Here's the hands. It's time to do the outer clothing now. I've just got a work shirt, just a khaki colour one. I'll mark out the spots where it needs to be cut, just using these pictures here. So I'll just draw that on, cut it out, rough the edges up with sandpaper, and I'll probably might dip it in some black paint solution mixed with water just to darken it up a bit. Okay, so we'll get started now. We've got most of the cuts done now. There's the back of it. I'm just going to rough these up with sandpaper. Right, we've finished cutting all the holes in it, going over it with sandpaper, roughing up all those cuts. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just dirty it up a bit with some black flat spray paint. You can use acrylic paint mixed in water, just in a spray bottle. Right, we're just going to spray some black spray paint on here now, just to dirty it up a bit. Right, we've finished putting the black paint on. We're going to make a part 7 Jason mask now. We just got one of these ones here off eBay. So first we'll start by removing the straps. We won't need those. Just remove the snaps here. Just use a pair of mouldy grips or pliers. It's the easiest thing to use. You can drill them out, but they come out pretty easy with these. We're just going to sand the mask now. The mask is all sanded. I've just mixed up some plastic filler, because we're going to fill this hole here. So we'll fill that and then sand it. I've also put some filler in the old strap holes here, because if you actually look at the mask from the movie, they don't use these strap holes here. They fill those and make new holes here. So just fill those up, sand them back, and make some more holes for when you put the new strap on. We've sanded the mask down where we filled in the holes. Now we have to resize it, because in part 7 the mask is actually about ½ an inch shorter in diameter than the rest of the series, the previous masks. So we'll just use this other mask just to get a nice clean line around. So we'll take some off the bottom as well. Okay, I've cut that out, so we'll just sand the edge that we've cut. Alright, now we're just going to mark out the damage. So I'm just using some photos I just printed off of the actual mask that was used in the movie. So just mark out with a pencil and then we'll cut those out. Okay, we're just going to use the rotary tool to cut this out. It just with a lot of curves. It's just too hard to do with the scissors. I've cut out the side of the mask there. Now I'm just going to put some little jagged edges in it. I've just put a bit of masking tape across the front of the mask just to get a level line to mark the new holes for the straps. So I'll drill those out now. We're just going to mark out some of the damage now. So on this picture here, you can see they've got little holes punched into the plastic. So we're just going to do that with ours now. Just mark out where they have to go. Right, so we'll do a couple of coats of primer. I'm just using this primer here. You can use Rust-Oleum, also use that sometimes, but I find this one just adheres a bit better to the plastic, that's all. We've got it undercoated. Now we're just going to spray the whole mask with black. Now the reason I'm spraying black, even on the front of it, is because when you scratch the mask up, you want the black scratches to show through. So I'm just using flat black. Right, we've finished spraying it black now. Also done the inside of it because it's black on the movie one on the inside. So we're ready to spray it white. What we'll do is we'll stick this spare one here inside, just so that we don't get overspray on the black inside part of it. Okay, we'll do a couple of coats of that. I'm just using Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte White. Just putting a little bit of black on, fill some of those holes up with a little bit of black. We filled the holes in a bit with black. Now we'll mix some brown up. We'll start putting some browns on. Got most of the painting done on it now. So the colours I used, most of these bits here, was yellow ochre and a darker brown just mixed in with the black on the rough edges here. So what we'll do now is just pencil in some of the scratches before we scratch them in. We've finished all of the detail for the mask now. All the painting's done. So now we're just going to add the chevron. So all I've done is just drawn, just with a pencil, just freehand, the shape of the chevron. You don't really need to use a stencil for part 7 because if you look at the picture, it's all wobbly and the lines are not perfectly straight like the other Friday the 13th movies where you can sort of just use a stencil and tape to do a straight line. So I just drew this one just with the curves in it, and I'll just paint it freehand. So I'm just using this red paint here, and I'll mix a little bit of black in with it because it's pretty dark on the actual movie mask. So I'll mix that up and then I'll start painting. Now I'm going to be using enamel instead of acrylics just for the chevron, because I tested one out earlier, and this is the enamel, this is the acrylic. It looks much better using enamel. It's harder to apply and you don't really want to mess up, but if you're careful and put it on, it'll look much better than using acrylic. So let's see if we can do this without messing it up. We'll just do the outline first and fill it in. All right, we've finished the chevron now. We did about 2 coats of the red paint for that. So now we're just ready to do the clear coat. So I'm just using Rust-Oleum Satin Clear, and we'll do 2 coats of that. It's time to make the straps now. I've just got some brown leather from Temu. Costs like $3 for about 90 centimeters, which is enough for 1 strap. So we're just going to paint this darker brown and use the paper fasteners here to attach them. So we'll paint these brown as well just to age them a bit. So that's all I used for the movie masks, to attach them, just paper fasteners. So we'll do that now. We're just going to use one of these hole punches just to put a hole in the strap. The mask is now finished. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad, I guess. It's the first mask I've ever made, so it's about as best I could do for the moment. Okay, thanks for watching. We're just going to make a machete now. I've just drawn a picture of the Part 7 machete. and we're just going to cut that out now. I'm just using hardwood. Okay, we've got the basic shape cut out. Alright, now we'll just continue with it, thin the blade up a bit, and do the rest of it. We've finished sanding it now. Alright, so all we have to do is just put the undercoat on, ready to start painting. We're just going to spray one coat of undercoat. We're just going to spray the blade of it some gloss aluminium. We just have some black spray paint. Just going to put a little bit of black here and there on it. Just going to put a bit more silver on the edge of the blade. We're just going to spray the handle now, just black. We're just going to drill some holes now and add some of these little rivets into the handle. So I'm just going to add some glue into the holes and just put those in there, just glue them in. So we've drilled all our holes out. Now we're just going to grab some glue and fill the holes with it. press them in. So what we'll do now is put some blood on. So for the blood, all I've done is mixed up some clear glue, just any craft clear glue. You can use Elmer's glue, but it's more expensive. I've just got this cheap stuff here. Just put a small bit in a cup, up to about there. It's about 15 millimeters up the cup. Add about 15 drops of red food coloring and about 1 drop of green food coloring to have it a little bit darker. So I've got some lighter stuff there, and I'm going to mix up some darker stuff there. I'll put that on. When we've finished putting all the blood on, alright, so we'll just let that dry. Once it's dry, we'll just give the whole machete a clear coat just to protect everything. Okay, the blood is now dry. Alright, so what we'll do now is just put a coat of sealer on it. Alright, we're just going to go over some of the prices of things now. But before I do that, I just want to show you the gloves. I had to redo the gloves and get rid of the piano gloves because they were just too small and wouldn't stretch enough once you got all the silicone on. So I just used some big gardening gloves. Because the silicone goes on pretty thick, it was just not stretchy enough to go over your arms. So just keep that in mind. You may need to use gardening gloves unless you put the silicone on really thin. I just stuck the bones the same way I did it to the piano gloves. And also the boots, I just used old work boots I had lying around the house. Just put some paint on them. I'll use those again next year. I already used them last year for Michael Myers costume. Now the cost of everything, the sweatpants, the top and bottom, were $16. The skeleton was $30. The khaki work clothes, they were $70. Gloves $5. 15 tubes of silicone were $90. The oil paints to colour silicone, that was $40. Used about 8 tubes of oil paints. So all up, the price of the skeleton costume was $250. Now the hockey mask, well, to buy a blank hockey mask was $8. All the paints were $40. Straps $5. So, and the clear coat $15. So all up, the cost of the hockey mask was $68. Machete, with a timber I had lying around the house, so I just used that. Would have cost about $20 to buy. The paints were $10 for the fake blood with some glue, $2, food colour $3, and the rivets for the handle, $10 for the pack. So all up for the machete it was $25. So the total price of everything was $343. That was for the costume, the mask and the machete, so $343. And the hood, I already have done a video on the hood, that was $400, but I haven't put this in the price because this was just about the costume. So I'll make another costume soon, probably a Freddy versus Jason one maybe. Depends what I can get the hood for, but I'll definitely do one before Halloween next year. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'm going to put the videos up now of the completed costume. So thank you again for watching. See you soon.